Leale is the headmaster at Harrow Bangalore. Can you please tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I taught in the UK system for the vast majority of my career, teaching at Tunbridge School, which is one of the top boarding schools in the southeast of England, where I completed a number of roles, including boarding house master, member of the senior leadership team. Then 4 years ago, I took up my first headship role in Beijing, in China, in an international school there. And I did 3 years in that role before joining Harrow Bengaluru 1 year ago.
Well, lovely. Thank you so much for that background. You're definitely the right person to get this new school started. And with that, I have my first question. Harrow is a big brand in the UK. Everyone in the world knows Harrow. So, what about that brand are you going to be bringing to your international campus in Bangalore?
That connection with Harrow UK is tremendously important to us, and it's very real. For example, all of our international teachers spent a period of time at Harrow UK before they came out to Bengaluru to become familiar with everything that Harrow represents, to make sure that we're ready to build the culture of Harrow UK in Bengaluru. And of course, since those teachers have been out in Bengaluru with their Indian counterparts, there's been lots of opportunities for them to connect with Harrow UK teachers and to further the philosophy of Harrow UK in Bengaluru. But of course, the connection doesn't just stop there. It's really real for the students as well. So there's lots of opportunities for our students to connect with Harrow UK and indeed the Harrow schools around the world, because it's not just about the UK. So just to give you an example of that, there's a creative writing club which brings together students from Harrow Bengaluru with students from other Harrow schools around the world to produce a joint creative writing magazine. And at the end of this academic year, our grade 10 students, when they finish their IGCSE examinations, will have the chance to go to Harrow UK, to spend some time there for a global symposium with students from all over the world, at different Harrow schools around the world joining. We're also, incidentally, planning our first international sports tour, which will be going to the UK in February, and will include a period of time at Harrow, we intend, which will both allow the students to play a fixture against Harrow, but also to attend lessons at Harrow.
Wow, that's fantastic. I think you've really thought it through, and it's a great opportunity for students across all the Harrow campuses to kind of meet, speak to one another, and really learn from one another.
Absolutely, and as you're probably aware, we're launching a Harrow in New York as well.
Yes.
Over the course of the next 12 months, which is going to present another opportunity for our students. A lot of our students are going on to UK universities, US universities, and those connections in those countries are really valuable to us.
Do you have any kind of exchange among students in one Harrow campus and another Harrow campus?
Yeah, that's embryonic at the moment, but it's absolutely something we want to take forward, and we hope that in the years to come, as I say, our grade 10s are going to go over there to Harrow UK at the end of this academic year, and it's something which will grow over time.
Fantastic, because I think that'll really bring that brand together, and it's something that'll definitely be a unique selling point for you guys.
We hope so.
Yes, absolutely. So, getting into some more of the questions about the school in India, the Harrow Bengaluru, where exactly is it located? I mean, I know Bengaluru, but are you in the city? Are you a little further out? Is it a big sprawling campus?
So we're on the north side of the city, about 20 minutes from the international airport, so terrifically convenient for students flying in from all over India, and that's what we found straight away, is that we have students coming from all the big cities around the country, knowing that they can be on campus half an hour after landing. So that's our location, and we're a purpose-built campus, of course, a brand new purpose-built campus, which has got a series of fantastic facilities. What I think was important to us was to make sure that, first of all, of course, the academic facilities are fantastic, and we've got a brand new main academic building which provides fantastic opportunity for our students. But of course, a Harrow education is about more than the academic. It's about the co-curricular, it's about the pastoral, And so we've got terrific boarding houses, we've got wonderful sporting facilities, a 50-metre swimming pool, squash courts, tennis courts, cricket nets, a huge 4G AstroTurf, a 400-metre running track, all those wonderful sports facilities, but then a 600-seat auditorium for the creative and performing arts, and a whole floor of creative arts facilities on the top floor of the academic building.
Wow, that's fantastic. You answered so many of my questions because I was going to ask you about the extracurricular activities. So do you want to add more on anything you said? Yeah.
You know, every day our curriculum includes, at the end of the day, a extracurricular, a co-curricular program, which runs from 3:30 to 5:30. And every student is involved in that. That's not just for a minority who want to get involved. It's part of the Harrow experience.
It's compulsory, isn't it?
It is compulsory, certainly for our boarders and for most of our day students as well. And so that includes a huge range of different activities. You know, I like to draw a distinction between what you might call the extracurricular and the supercurricular. So the extracurricular is all those things I was just talking about. It's the sport, it's the music, it's the drama, it's the dance, and there's lots of opportunities to do all sorts of things in those areas. But actually, I think it's really important to stress the importance of the supercurricular. That's the kind of academic opportunities that go beyond the regular curriculum. Because we don't just want to prepare our students to pass exams. We want them to develop a love of learning, and we want them to really get in-depth understanding of the subjects which they're particularly interested in. That's what universities want to see. They don't want to just see examination machines. They want to see children who really are genuinely interested because they've had the opportunity to explore things which might not happen on the regular curriculum.
I mean, that's fantastic. I think it's really about sparking that intellectual curiosity, isn't it?
Absolutely right. And for every student,
yes,
it's slightly different.
Of course it is. And I mean, having the opportunity to take, an extra science class, dabble in the lab, or have a teacher maybe teach you something extra out of the curriculum that you might be interested in is always fantastic, isn't it? Students that are inclined.
Absolutely right. So some of our grade 11 students went off to a business competition last weekend and really enjoyed the opportunity to apply some of their classroom learning in a different context. And that's what just excites students, I think.
Absolutely. I think it's really, we've gone away from the age of literally sitting in a classroom and having a teacher talk at you, isn't it? It's more about conversations. Of course, learning the theory is important, but then going out into the world and using or implementing it, seeing it in action.
That's absolutely right. We all know that modern education is not just about knowledge. Actually, knowledge is on the internet. We can get that within seconds. What we need to do is develop skills, and actually that takes us back to that extracurricular program, because it's on the sports field that you learn teamwork, and it's in the drama productions that you learn collaboration with other people, and communication skills and creativity skills, and all those things. And leadership, of course, is such a central part of a Harrow education. 7 British Prime Ministers, etc. And all that, yes, all that sort of soft skills and abilities are so important to us.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask you a question about the curriculum. Are you mimicking the IGCSE A level? Are we looking at introducing IB or what's?
Sure. So our students up to grade 10 follow IGCSE.
Okay.
So at the end of grade 10, they take in the region of 9 or 10 IGCSE exams.
That's fantastic.
After that, they've got the choice of either doing A levels or doing the IB diploma. And that to me is really important, because there are schools that offer A level, there are schools that offer the IB diploma, but the reality is what suits your child depends on their unique characteristics. So some are best suited to the focused 4-subject A-level curriculum.
Yes.
Others are better suited to the broad range of subjects which are offered from doing 6 IB subjects within the diploma.
Fantastic. And have you got different faculty for the different curricula?
So our faculty is made up of about 2/3 international staff and about 1/3 Indian teachers. And all of those faculty have come with a great experience. A third of our international faculty are ex-Oxford and Cambridge graduates. All of our faculty have taught at top international schools around the world. So they're very well equipped to deliver both of those. And actually, an important part of our recruitment has been recognising teachers who've already got a good amount of experience of teaching A-levels, of teaching IGCSE, of teaching the IB diploma. So those faculty will deliver one or other of those. And in some cases, they can teach both A-level physics and IB diploma physics. What we need to make sure is that the overall package that they're delivering is something which allows them the time and the space to deliver at the very highest level.
Fantastic. Another thing, Andrew, is families look at boarding school definitely at the sixth form level as a stepping stone to universities. Universities admission is very important, and families are looking at, okay, if I'm sending my child to a boarding school, is that going to give them an upper hand when it comes to university admissions, or is there something that's going to help them? How is Harrow Bengaluru thinking of this?
Sure. You're absolutely right, of course. One of the, probably the most important thing in parents' minds is where we're going to get their children to move on to afterwards.
Absolutely.
And we want to support them and they're getting to those top universities. And for me, there's essentially two aspects to that. On the one hand, of course, they need to be academically engaged and they need to have strong academic results to show off. And so delivering that top quality academic programme is really, really important. And you mustn't lose sight of that in a boarding school. We can talk about all the extracurricular aspects of school life, but actually it's really important that the academic side of school life is at the top level. But then the wonderful opportunity that comes with a boarding school education is that it goes beyond that and it helps students to develop confidence and all those other skills. They've got longer at school, they've developed some independence, which in itself is a great stepping stone to university. But also they develop the other soft skills which are very important, and the experiences. Universities don't just look at examination results. They look at what you do outside the classroom. They want to know, as a student coming to their university, which is probably in a different country than your own, that you've got the other aspects to your character which are going to allow you to thrive. They don't want students who are just going to work in their studies and never interact and engage with anyone else.
I definitely agree with that. I've been to a boarding school and I think I was very prepared for university. It was a really seamless transition. So that's fantastic. But in terms of the counselling support to help students in deciding which universities to apply to, which destinations to apply to, have you got an infrastructure set up at the school for that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So actually this year our top grade level is grade 11. It's a lower sixth in British terminology. But nonetheless, we have appointed a university careers guidance counsellor from day one, because we realise that actually getting into top universities is a long process. It takes many years, and you have to actually start thinking about it in grade 8 and grade 9.
Absolutely.
And our university guidance counsellor, Mr. Ganesh, is spending a lot of time with our younger students, helping them to understand how they must now start building their CVs, building their package of things they can show their universities in the future. And of course, giving advice to those grade 11s who are now seriously thinking about exactly which direction they're going to go in. But the second thing I would say about that is that actually university guidance can't be the domain of one person. It can't be just the domain of the university guidance team. It has to go beyond that. And so, again, all our teachers, with all their experience of sending students to top universities, of attending top universities themselves, are giving that specialist advice in their area. So, I'm a graduate of Oxford, where I studied PPE, and as a result, if there's a student who wants to go into social sciences, who wants to study economics, who wants to study business, then actually I work with them a great deal to help them with the expert knowledge I have in that area. Our head of curriculum, Miss Robinson, is a history graduate from Oxford, so she can specialise with those who are looking at history or other humanities. Our head of physics, Mr. Mumba, is a graduate of Cambridge University, and he's got that expert knowledge in that scientific area. So whichever area it is the students are applying for, they've got the support from people who really have the specialist knowledge in that area, as well as the all-round support of the university careers team.
That's fantastic. I know I too have a alumni of Oxford, and I did biochemistry, so I do know that the interview process is very academic oriented. So it's definitely a plus point for parents who are looking at the UK and looking at some of the top universities, that if you have faculty that have graduated from these universities, they probably understand the curriculum the best and can help you with, especially for Oxford, these interviews that are a big hurdle in the process and are usually academically inclined.
That's absolutely the case, and it's not just about where they went to university, but they've got experience of working in top schools. It's built up their knowledge, and they send students already to these top universities. You know, the Harrow group of schools sends over 100 students to Oxbridge and Ivy League universities every year, and that experience again is something we're tapping into by being part of the Harrow group.
That's fantastic. So Andrew, a little bit if you can share about the application process.
Sure. So at Harrow Bengaluru, we essentially, after students have registered with us, we invite them to sit an aptitude test, which they can do online. They don't have to come to the school to do that. But also significantly, every student has a short interview with me, either online and face-to-face. And that reflects the fact that a Harrow education, yes, it's about excellent academic education, but it's also about character. And before parents worry about that, it's a very friendly conversation. But what it does do is it allows me to just get a little bit of a feel for the interests and the character of each of the candidates and their enthusiasm to be involved in a boarding school with all the masses of things that are happening at Harrow.
That's fantastic. And do you have natural entry points, or are you at the moment recruiting for all the grades?
No, we are recruiting across grade 6 to grade 11, effectively year 7 to year 12 in British terminology. So we don't take into year 13, grade 12, because that's halfway through that sixth form course. But we are keen to meet parents and students from all those other grade levels.
Fantastic. You've shared a tremendous amount of information with me today. So my last question to you will be, what advice do you have for prospective families that are looking at Harrow Bengaluru as a boarding school?
You know, I think I go back to what I said a moment ago, which is that Harrow Bengaluru is about that combination of outstanding academic education, but also far more, a much bigger picture of extracurricular, supercurricular activities. So be ready to throw yourself into a really exciting and varied school life. Don't come to Harrow Bengaluru if the only thing you want to do is get 4 A stars at A level. I hope you will get 4 A stars at A level, but I hope you'll get far more than that, and that you'll be developed, your character will be built, and you'll be a much stronger candidate for universities and for later life as a result of that.
Thank you so much for your time.